Hello and welcome to Not Every Single. I'm Joe.
And I'm Stephanie.
And Ayo, we're here to talk about Green Day.
Ayo.
That's this thing. He always does it.
Yeah.
Does it in concert. Green Day was the first concert I ever saw. It was 2005. It was the American Idiot World Tour. Jimmy Eat World opened, and I was in an arena in Vancouver and took that in for the first time. I remember a lot of AOs, even though he's not the first to do it. It goes way back to Queen and stuff.
A long tradition.
Yeah. Anyway, they have a new record out called Saviors. First record since the not so great Father of All.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some rocky records recently. Not to everybody, but like maybe our fandom's gone back a little farther, especially you, and you haven't been quite as into them.
Yeah, so American Idiot came out when I was 14. Was super into that. Prior to that, I was really, really into that run of like Dookie to Warning. Mm-hmm. Culminating with the international super hits. I was like all in. So for me at the time, American Idiot was just like this cherry on top. But it was interesting to see them so huge and arena sized tours again and stuff.
Right, yeah.
And then, I pretty much got into other music after that. I wasn't really on board for like 21st Century Breakdown. Kind of came back for the trilogy and liked some of those songs, but like a lot of the fandom thought it should be one record.
Yeah, you have like your cut of like these are the songs that would make one good record out of the three.
Little playlist. Like
Yeah.
It should have just been this.
Yeah.
And then they followed it up with Revolution Radio, which like I know I heard, but like haven't revisited, couldn't tell you what it sounds like really. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that I even listened to Father of All the way through.
Yeah, and I have never listened like really consistently to them. I had Warning. That was my first Green Day album,
That's
weirdly.
Right. Yeah, would you say it's like your favorite?
Yeah, I mean there's things that are not perfect about it, but I do really like that album quite a bit.
I like Warning a lot too, but I'll say right now Nimrod has always been my favorite and always will be. I love that record. It's just so angry and visceral and at the same time experimental and that just like chunky, heavy guitar sound that I really miss. But let's get on to Saviors. It came out today. We just heard it. Just finished listening to it like 5 minutes ago. Overall thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think my just main overall thought about this album is it's just very solid, very classic Green Day. It's not really elevating anything, but I think it's a strong entry for them. I think especially with, some rockiness in the past few records or just a little bit of like cringiness little bit. It's definitely like, okay, I listened to this and didn't really have a lot of moments of like, Yeah.
You know what? I disagree with not elevating it though, because I think in the front half of this record, we get a lot of things that I haven't heard before from this band.
Yeah, and there's a couple songs I definitely want to talk about in that context as well. I think overall, especially the end, when we looked to see how long it was, what is it like?
Like 46 minutes or something.
Maybe a little longer. Yeah, and we thought, I thought it was gonna be like half an hour.
It probably should be.
Right.
It probably should be because I really think it's front loaded. Mm-hmm. I kind of stopped listening to the singles after Dilemma. I really like that song. I thought it was like a really interesting step up for them. And so I was like, well, I'll just wait for the record after that. Mm-hmm. And then the next few songs are like the rest of the singles. So that run from American Dream is Killing Me to like after Dilemma like I really like that run. And then like once it's at 1981 on, I don't think the second half is like nearly as interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely how I felt too, as I was noticing each song as it changed and like having little thoughts about it. And as it got farther on, definitely like 1981, I think is kind of a turning point. You just, okay, well, these are songs, and they're not bad. And I'm sure a lot of people really like them and there's nothing wrong with them, but it's a little filler to me.
That's what I thought. It's like, they're not bad. They're not bad songs. They're like perfectly fine Green Day songs. But I think a band with so much history and so much back catalog, like a perfectly fine Green Day song just isn't what I want from this band.
Right, yeah.
So like I put like songs like 1981 and Coma City, like, yeah, sure, fine. That sounds like you guys, great. But like, it's not bringing anything new to the table. What I just heard before that was like 5 songs that did bring something new to the table.
Yeah, and like Father to a Son, you know, they're so famous for Good Riddance, like this amazing ballad. And Father to a Son is just like the most basic guitar strum thing and chords and lyrics, and then the strings come in, and I famously don't like almost never like when strings are in songs.
You are known for that.
That's my big, that's what people think of when they think of me.
Yeah, people are always saying that about you.
Yeah.
I want to say some positive stuff about that first run, though.
For sure, yeah.
So, okay, first of all, the screaming on, well, I guess it's not screaming, but this new, bigger, angrier vocal that Billy's bringing on like Bobby Socks and the chorus of Dilemma.
Yeah.
All in on that. Love that. Love hearing like that impassioned, like grittiness in his voice that you don't get a lot.
I'd like to say that Bobby Socks is the best Weezer song since the Green album.
It is pretty Weezer. So they did this massive tour together.
Right.
And I had heard leading up to the record, like there's a couple of songs that sound like Weezer. I'm like, oh, interesting. Bobby Socks totally sounds pretty Weezer-y. Not in a negative way at all. I think it's a really good song.
Really love this song, and this is what I wish Weezer was doing.
That's
I don't know what they're doing. So, but yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like when a band takes someone else's sound and is like, I'm gonna fix this for you.
Yeah, do a better version of it.
Not to be like dragging on Weezer or anything. I just think that like this is a really good example of that genre. Yeah.
And you know, I think Billy talking about his queerness in a new Green Day record is something that's really cool and welcome. I remember listening to Coming Clean on Dookie when I was like young and knowing what that's about and thinking that it was really cool that he was singing about that stuff. And I've said this before on this channel, but like as a kid, back, you know, way back then, long ago.
In the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, like when those records were like my favorite records, like I thought that he was like the end-all be-all coolest guy. Like, who is the coolest possible person? It was Billy Joe.
Yeah.
And so to see him still like bringing that and I don't know, being more personal, sharing that stuff on a record is really cool. Brings us to Dilemma. Like, that's a very personal song, and I think a line like I don't want to be a dead man walking, like that's so much interesting to me than some sort of rehash of American Idiot and talking about politics. It's like, hey, I have this problem and I don't want to die.
Yeah. I think, again, like overall positive on this album. I do think some of the political stuff is weaker here just because they've done it so famously before and in ways that were very resonant. And just some of the lines in the songs here feel a little bit like obligatory political song where it's not like the passion and the wordplay that I'm used to from them. I don't think it's super needed, but I'm sure there's people who really respond to those songs. So I guess that could just be like a subjective thing. Yeah.
You know, American Dream is killing me. It's a song that did grow on me. When it first came out, I was like, this just, it feels like this follow-up to American Idiot where timely-wise, like it makes sense. It makes sense to be coming out with that now, but like it's not living up. It, like you're saying, it's like it's not nearly as like clever and revolutionary. But the song has grown on me. So I figured out what was bugging me about it, not lyric-wise, but just the music. It's like sometimes Green Day can have this sound that like I really don't get into, which is like if it sounds like a like rah 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 bar song, you know, like Minority can kind of sound like that, where it's like rah da 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 da, and like that's not really something I get into with them, and so like this American Dream is killing me kind of sounded like that, like rah da da da. What do you call those? I know I'm like missing a term. Is it like a I don't know what those are called.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But like at a concert, you know, everyone's like, yeah. You know?
I can see it being like pretty hard hitting and effective live. I'd believe that.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that Irving Plaza show the other day.
Yeah.
I'd have to take the train into the city and I don't know.
I also really liked Look Ma No Brains personally.
That grew on you because when it first came out, we listened to that and weren't
like,
crazy about it.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was the second single.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we've literally, like we said, we listened to this album once. We've heard some of the singles multiple times. And so that could be the case with some of these songs where I'm like, okay, these are like pretty standard. Not a lot is jumping out at me. But yeah, the singles that I've heard have kind of increased in my regard for sure.
Yeah, my favorites ended up being, I think, Dilemma is great. Love hearing like, that sort of personal and the anger and stuff in there, and then One-Eyed Bastard and Bobby Socks.
And can we talk about that riff just for a second?
Oh yeah, that sounds like the Pink riff.
It sounds exactly like the da 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 da.
What is that song? I'm gonna start a fight.
Yeah, I'm still a rock star.
Yeah.
Got my rock moves.
Yeah,
that one is.
I mean, hey, it is an infectious riff.
It is, and it does a little bit of a different thing, but it's so similar that I'm surprised someone didn't kind of like in the recording process go, maybe we should change this up a little more. But you know.
Okay.
Did you notice?
I'm gonna need like 30 seconds to do a little Rob Cavallo talk right now.
Okay, great.
Okay, I know we shot for a 10-minute video.
Be nerdy.
It's already over 10 minutes.
That's okay.
Okay, so Rob Cavallo, longtime producer of, I'd say, most Green Day records. Butch Vig did 21st Century Breakdown. They've worked with some other people here and there, but mostly it's been Rob Cavallo. Recently, Mike Dirnt came out and was like, yeah, we've worked with Rob for a long time, and like sometimes it hasn't been great. And I think he was referring to the trilogy where like, I don't know, it feels like the trilogy, maybe Cavallo was sort of like phoning it in and just playing yes man, and Green Day needs someone that's not a yes man. I would say any band that's gone on this long needs somebody that's not a yes man in the producer's chair, someone to keep them reined in and on the rails, because when you've been a band that long and have had so much success, I don't know, maybe it can feel like, we'll just do this and it'll be big.
Everything's
stuff.
Good. We're good at writing. You know, we can do whatever.
And that's not something that's like coming from arrogance or like success going to your head. It's just like, I think that's what happens to songwriters. Like it's hard to sustain that level of
just like creativity and innovation
and a quality standard.
Right. Yeah.
So to have someone in the producer's chair that's saying no when needed is really important. And it sounds like that's not what happened in the trilogy. I can hear Cavallo keeping them more on the rails on this record. That's it.
Okay. And then I think we also wanted to just touch briefly on the rollout of this album, which I think is impressive just in the sense of like how much hype they're able to still build around themselves. You know,
yeah, I think they've reached a point where they're kind of an evergreen band, right? Like there's only so much hit their reputation can take with something like Father of All. You know, it's almost like, yeah, okay, that one, we'll forget about it, won't play the songs live really, whatever. And they can like just retain their like important legacy.
And the fact that, you know, there's not a lot of bands who can really like pull for a listening party. They did all these listening parties. There was one not too far from us and we saw pictures and it was packed.
At local record stores.
Local indie record stores. The one in LA they like showed up at.
Yeah, they showed up at one. That was cool. They did the Subway thing with Jimmy Fallon. They're putting out a lot of singles and cool videos and little animated lyric videos and stuff. Yeah, they really did a lot to like make the rollout of this record an exciting event.
Yeah, which we appreciate.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and you know, you want to see that there's like some effort put into it, and not just the standard rollout.
You're not just posting about it. It's like we're going and doing things. We're working with record stores, making it an event. And so good job. I think Green Day, this will probably be up there as far as like albums that people say are highly regarded, you know? I don't think it's, you know, it's not like Dookie or Nimrod, but...
Yeah, like, is it their best record since American Idiot, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, actually, like, tell us what you think. Like, what's your ranking for this one? Where would you put it?
We should do a Green Day ranking video.
Oh my gosh.
Because it'd be a good reason for me to revisit some and maybe hear Father of All for like the first time. And it'd be fun to do that because where do I put something like 21st Century Breakdown? I really wasn't like into that music at the time, so I didn't really pay attention to it. But like, I think it's a pretty well-regarded follow-up to American Idiot.
Yeah.
Anyway, if that's something you'd like to see, let us know. Thanks for watching. I want to hear the rankings. What's your favorite song from this record? I'd say it's got to be Bobby Socks for me. What's your favorite?
Bobby Socks or Look Ma No Brains. Wow, that's hard to say.
All right, cool. Yeah. And side note, good to be back. We haven't uploaded in a while. Hi.
Got some more videos coming, so thanks for watching.
All right. How do we usually end these? This is Not Every Single. I'm Joe.
And I'm Stephanie.
Bye.
Bye.